And welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. What you see here is some of the remains of the last episode in which this vessel, Lander 1, attempted a landing on Duna. And it didn't go so well. And down the hill, off here, there, 15.2 kilometers away, is where Lander 2 attempted a landing. It too also flipped on its side, however, it didn't blow up and come apart and become a pile of rubble. So if there's a way to lift it back on its legs, it might be possible to do something with that ship. But at the current moment, there is no way to do that. So we have two crews trapped on Duna, pretty much not able to do anything. We've got two pilots here. We've got Lanhat Kerman off there where there's a flag. And we have three more pilots here in Lander 2. But there is nothing we can do for them right now. Unfortunate, but true. So, I'm going to switch over here to Fuel 1, the first of three ridiculous looking fuel ships. Well, not ridiculous looking really, I suppose, but the idea was a little bit ridiculous in retrospect, because Fuel 1 left Kerbin with all of these tanks full. It arrives and only that one is full. The others are just about totally shot. So, we're going to undock here. Yes, control from there. Undock that. And switch to the correct part of the vehicle. And now we'll go along here. Control from, no, we'll not deploy chute. We'll control from there. And we'll undock this, if I can get the right piece. And this part, that has all of the fuel it brought, is going to rendezvous with the Mayflower and get it refueled so that it can get into position in low Kerbin orbit somewhere, or low Duna orbit, I should say. And do something about getting connected, getting in position for when there is an intact ship available for landing crew on Duna. And of course, there is the home modules on that station, or ship, or whatever it is. Alright, let's see if I can manage to lateral thrust and get that thing clear. Okay, it'll drift clear over time, and that's what we need. Meanwhile, let's get, oh boy. And again, we've got a really, really bad angle in terms of our inclination here. Alright, let's set our target, if we can select it in here. Well, I know it's there. There it is, Mayflower. Set that as our target. Close this. where is the Mayflower? It's there. And since its altitude is getting lower, then it's coming this way. So the first thing we have to do is get this ship's orbit inclination changed to match the Mayflower. All right. Not that direction. Where is that blasted marker? 0.6. .8, so let's go the other direction. 0.6. 0.7. I guess 0.6 is going to be the best we can do on this first burn. And oh boy, an Ike encounter. Isn't that wonderful? Well, I guess we'll have to fix that after this burn. This thing's going to have to get out there to match up with the Mayflower's orbit anyway. Alright. Alright. It's a start. Let's get rotated around. Okay, it's got to be around here somewhere. There it is. RCS off. Alright. And now let's warp around to burn time. I'm just curious, why are the solar panels not extended? And apparently this is one of the early models that doesn't have solar panels. Okay, that explains it. Continuing time warp. Here we go. I'm just going to let this go at about 3 minutes till the node. Because I don't have an estimated burn time. So I'm just going to guess. Oh, well, it would help if I were to activate the engines before trying to fire them. All right. I'm already 2 minutes past burn time. Node in T-minus 2 minutes and 2 minute burn time estimate. Okay. Once the burn is complete, let's see, go ahead and slow this down a minute. Once the burn is complete, then we'll set up a correction burn to fine-tune the inclination and arrange to not have an icon counter. Right, just about done here. Start slowing down to try to not overshoot. Alright, it started going up, so that's the end of that. Alright. Inclination 4 degrees. So it still has quite a bit of work, and there is still an icon counter in an hour and a half. Alright. So we'll set another maneuver node here. And try to avoid an icon counter. Alright, that removes the icon counter. Need a little bit more delta V to keep from having a Duna crash encounter. I can get the right angle here and bring this out to, yeah, there we go. Separation 14,000 kilometers, because that's where it's going to be at the time. Well, it's a start. I know it's not going to be an easy, perfect arrangement here, but actually I'm thinking after this burn, get out to about here and do a course correction and get this to be a little more circularized or a little more shaped like the Mayflower's orbit. So this is another step in that direction. Get lined up. time warp forward. Besides, there is still a need to correct the inclination of the burn of the orbit, so don't think it's going to be a problem having to make several mid-course corrections here. "44-second burn. And we start right now because I muffed the time compression a little bit. Fortunately, we shouldn't have too much of a problem correcting this. Ascending node, we're now 2.5 degrees out, so things are actually a little better. Orbit coming up away from Ike. Which is a good thing because Ike has been a problem. Cut. Get rid of that. Alright. It went out a little far, but that's not necessarily a problem. Alright. Pop a maneuver here. See if we can correct the inclination. Not so much. Not in a very good place in the orbit for doing that. Alright. Okay, let's just warp time forward. And one of the things I wanted to do was confirm that the ship was orbiting in the same direction as this one. Alright. Let's get a maneuver, say, here. And start getting this orbit roughly the same shape and size as that of the Mayflower. Once get that, let's see, separation is what? 14,000 kilometers. But the orbit here is going to be well inside that of the Mayflower, so the Mayflower Actually, the Mayflower is behind us. Okay. I shouldn't have forgotten this. Alright. Yeah, we need our orbit to be larger than that of the Mayflower, so that it will be a lower orbit and catch up. Whoa, we had something going on here. Separation is 750 kilometers. And a little bit of alignment, some plane change might help fix that. No. Plane change is going to have to wait until we're at a node here. But this burn can happen and get us on the way to lining up. Speaking of lining up, oh, I've been going in 2x time all this time. Good night. I know better than that. Alright. Lock that in place. "44 minutes to the burn, estimating 43 seconds of burn time. This is turning out to apparently be easier than I expected. I say apparently because Kerbal Space Program has a way of surprising me sometimes. Burn at T-minus 21 seconds. Or now. Let's zoom out and see how this changes the orbit. See if it matches prediction. Looking good so far. Even when we get this close encounter like that, it's going to cost a bunch of delta V to get, well, not necessarily, because we're going to be quite a ways away from Duna in the process, so less gravity to deal with. And cut. All right. Looking surprisingly good. Now, we've yet to do something here. And I think that's the next stage. Do something about aligning the plane. Because right now, it's 2.2 degrees out. 0.1. 0. I'll take it. All right. There we go. All right. Warp ahead to burn time. Estimated burn is unknown. It can't seem to give us an estimate, so again, I will simply guess. And given the last burn, I'm going to guess about 10 to 15 seconds. Start a burn at 10 seconds before the node. Okay, 2 hours. "45 minutes. "10 minutes. Okay. Burning at T-minus 10. Actually overshot just a little bit. Alright. Use thrusters to compensate. Alright. Get rid of the node. See how this turned out. Well, we have a close approach of 2,500 kilometers. Alright. Let's swing around prograde and see if we can fix that at all. I'm thinking we can. Just put a little maneuver there. 1800, 1280. Now we have a connection over here. .565 on this intersection. 357. Okay, back it up. Very touchy. 226. I will take it. That looks great. We can ignore this intersection and go for this one. And right about here at periapsis, perhaps we can fine-tune it a little bit. Or maybe over here. Not certain just yet. So this out of the way and time warp ahead. As the two ships finally get closer together, closer enough to do something. You know what I didn't do? The burn that I planned at Apoapsis. I don't believe that, but that's true. So now I have to try to compensate or figure out something else that will work as well. Uh, 1745. You know what? It's not going to happen with a periapsis maneuver. It's just not. $102. All right. We have a burn in 3 days, 22 hours. Let's see if I can actually not completely blow right past the burn. Stop and take a moment to get aligned for that burn. Which should be mostly prograde. At least I would have expected it to be. That's why I stopped 3 hours short so that I have time to get lined up. Here we are. All right. Now let's get into burn time. It's estimating 2 seconds. Take a minute here and fine-tune this a little bit. Get the rest of the way in. Almost there. All right. Cut that. So back out, see how did we do. We have an intersection 337 kilometers here. Alright. That's good. Alright, let's warp around to about periapsis and see what we can do to improve that. Alright, I went past a little. I didn't want to mess with that one. I was aiming for this one. .307, 292, 279, a little too much. Alright, 270. We'll leave it at that. Get lined up. And get the rest of the way down to burn time. Estimating 1 second. We'll see about that. 5.3 meters a second. It might just be 1 second. Not even enough time to spool the engines all the way up to full thrust. And I overshot a little bit, but alright, node. Get rid of you. Encounter 272. Not bad. Alright. Let's close in. Okay. And now, rather than plan a maneuver for this, I'm just going to flip around to target relative velocity negative. And we'll kill the relative velocity to the target. Doing that 2 or 3 times should put us in an orbit pretty much the same as the target. Distance 403 kilometers. Let's close in. Estimated separation 271. So when the distance gets close to that, we'll need to start our orbit corrections, our rendezvous maneuver. And this is as good a place as any. Let's see, how are we looking out here? Can we see the target? It does not seem so. Too far away. Alright. Kill relative velocity. Alright. That has our orbit pretty close. 278, closest approach now. Alright. I think I'll probably do the rest of it from this screen instead of giving in to the temptation of playing with that map too much. Ship, Mayflower. Alright, distance, relative velocity. Doesn't show closest approach on here. That's alright. Alright. Kill that last 2.1 meters a second. And now get around to target prograde. The pink prograde target marker, and move towards the target. I think 34 meters a second should be sufficient. Target is 289 kilometers out and closing. And the marker for it should show up in the HUD sometime within 100 kilometers, I believe. And then we will be able to finally, once and for all, match orbits. Time warp just a little faster here. Okay, here it is, 52 kilometers out. Down to 30. Alright. Now. Yeah, I need to kill relative velocity again, or it's going to blow right on by. I'm not sure I'm going to need that anymore. Because now it's pretty much like any other orbital rendezvous. It's just really high up. Let it get a little closer. Closer the better. Oh! I hit increased time when I meant to hit decreased time. But we can still pull this out. It's 8 kilometers away. Alright. Now, let's get aligned and burn towards it. And close the distance. Alright, we are now targeted directly on them. Our flight path is. And let's close in some more. Hello? Thought it had locked up on me. No, it was the ship loading. Alright. Let's get around here. Kill the relative velocity again. And what I'm going to do here is get these orbits matched, get these ships parked right next to each other, and then next time we will proceed to dock, transfer fuel, and send the Mayflower on to actually attempt to complete its mission. Come on. Get lined up. There we go. Give this thing a little bit, see if it's going to get any closer. Okay. Get ready for another closing in maneuver. Ay, ay, ay. Over control city. Well, it would help if I had fine controls on, now wouldn't it? That not being quite so ham-handed on the controls. And then, of course, there's that trick. Good 4 meters per second in closing rate should be more than sufficient. I'm going to park this thing about 100 meters off the other one, and we'll pick it up from there next time. No, don't do that. Instead, let's have docking mode. Okay. So we just get in close, and then we cancel out the relative speed and pick it up from there next time. A little bit of thruster action here. Keep us lined up real good. Decently so, at least. Kill the remaining relative velocity. I'm going to go ahead and come to a stop here, a little over 200 meters out. There. Relative velocity 0. We are parked in position. Our orbit matches that of the Mayflower pretty much exactly. And next time out, the Mayflower gets a sizable load of fuel and proceeds on to complete its mission. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.